Welcome, sketchbook heroes, sketchbook warriors, to a brand new year. We've got silhouette scribbles, so we're going to be practicing scribbling. Just it's a good warm up, just good to get going and starting action. You know, you really need to get into action. Not be afraid. Have a practice with a purpose. Find your level. We're going to be finding your level. Also, what's your interest? What are you interested in? That really helps. You know, get through the hard parts when it's not coming out. You're trying to draw something that you're interested in, or your level. Finding something that your reason, your purpose, your why. We are looking for mass and we are looking for big shapes. So let's get started. Here's our screen. We're looking for, actually I did a search for silhouettes and I did find all kinds of silhouettes. So exactly find your level, which one's your level. Some of these are like stencils, so that's a little bit different. What's great about silhouettes is that it really simplifies the form and simplifies your drawing, especially when you're first learning. And it really forces you to see form, and it forces you to see space. Space is one of the biggest challenges to learning to draw, getting the ratios and getting the proportions right. So doing silhouettes is actually a little bit freeing. You can see all these that are here. And if you look up here, you can actually see more. I can actually put this link in the chat as well. And if you want to get these on your own. And we'll be doing these for the rest of the month. Not all of them. I mean, if you find some that you like, we'll do those. I did go to these ones. These are simple, and I found these tree ones. And we can actually go a little more difficult. I did find a horse. Actually, I did do a horse for a warm up before class. All right, so we'll start off with these ones. Actually, we'll start off with these ones, the trees. All right, so basically, it's a lot of form, really roundedness. Let's break it down a little bit before we start. Here we go. Welcome, welcome. So we're going to be doing scribbles. For those of you just getting here, we're going to be scribbling silhouettes as a warm-up. It's good to see the mass. So there's a lot of mass here. And if you see the big shapes, there's really big shape, especially with it connected to a circle there. You can see that circle in there and see how it's a little bit wider than a circle. Whoever this artist is, they actually use this same piece and they actually put it over here. So this is pretty much this exact same tree, except they changed the bottom to it. The bottom on this side is really square. So if we're looking at the ratios, you can see I'm just looking at it, see that it's pretty square right there. Look at that square there. And that really helps with proportions and the relationships we're looking for. The relationships we're looking for, how things relate. We'll probably do this tree and maybe this tree. And oh yeah, these three trees sound good. Those three trees, maybe four. We'll see. All right. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and do a freehand. And then that's it. That'll be our warm-up for today. So let me get that in the chat. Here we go. I'll screenshot it. Here we go. Screenshot just that half. And we're going to do that half. If you want to do the other ones on your own, feel free to do the other ones on your own. And here we go. Yeah, it really depends on what you focus on. Here, I focused on, this is one of my early 30-year-old sketchbooks. I focused on perfection and really trying to get things perfect. And you can see that, but it really slowed me down. Look at all these blank pages. So we're going to be using this as a warm-up or warm-ups. Again, silhouette scribbles. Here's one that I started earlier, right before class, and let's get started. So let's zoom in because this is actually a really small sketchbook. We're going to start with the let's see, yeah, with the tree. And the tree, and here, let's see, you don't really, when you're warming up, you just get to scribbling. Don't worry about mistakes. Really, you really want to become a warrior and not worry about keeping your, you know, and you should get just any paper. Just the biggest thing is not worrying about mistakes. So you can just getting out of that, you know, getting out of your comfort zone and making marks. And it's okay. So I can see here the tree, even though I started with all kind of scribble here just to get me going, really get to know. And I'm using a ballpoint pen, which is pretty interesting. I've got the top of the tree and I can see the bottom of the tree. That it's pretty much this shape here, but I can scribble it in. I'm seeing mass. I'm seeing mass. So I can see it's almost like this triangular shape. and I can see the height compared to the width down here. And if I need to make it longer, I can make it longer. I can make adjustments like I'm adding clay, which is great about scribbling. I can see that the trunk is a little bit to the right and the thickness of it, and I can make it thicker if I need to. But there it is. And I can see the spacing there. Then it opens up to like some roots down here. And if I'm not happy with it and I need to make it wider, I can make those adjustments. And I'm using a ballpoint pen. And then now
Hello?
yes.
I can't see what you're
Oh,
doing.
all righty. Oh, you're right. Great question. There we go.
Thank
Okay,
you.
there we go. That's better. Thank you. I just jumped right into it. Let me spotlight it, and that's even better. So I'll start over again, but we're just making marks. Really, actually, even the scribbles is part of the sketch. But I'm looking at the height compared to the width, and then you can see this triangular shape. There is detail, but I don't worry about the detail. I try to see the big shape first, scribble it in, and then you can see the detail like in here. Some of these here we go. There's this one big little circle in there, and there's a lot of little leaves. But you can get lost in the leaves, right? Like if you're getting lost in the forest, you want to try to see the big shapes first, where you're at, and then the medium-sized shapes, right? The medium-sized shapes, and that's the little scribbling. These little edges in here, I can see this detail part like around the edge, but I've got the big tree first. All right, there's one tree down. I'm trying to get the other trees. I might use a marker next. We'll see. And if I want to be more exact, I can see there's this one little hanging branch or a bunch of leaves right in here. There's one there. I see there's three. This is like the main one. There's another one right in here. And then there's another one over here on this side. And I'm just scribbling it in, scribbling it in. You know, there it is. Trying to see the height, the width, the relationships in here. What's great about these silhouettes is you don't worry about all the detail. It actually gets rid of some of the detail for you. All right, there's our one tree, almost like a Christmas tree. Let's go to our next tree. Next tree is pretty round. I can mass it in right there. It's pretty round. It's oval. The base is a square. So I can see the circle like there. It's just a little bit wider than a circle. I can see my circle in there if I scribble it in. There's my circle. And again, these are just warm-ups. We're just warming up. And then right here at the base, there's like a square. Now, once we have that square, the roots are going out. I can see the roots. And I can try to shoot for accuracy. I can see really quick, and I can see some little small little roots like sticking out. So it really depends on your time, how accurate you want to get your drawing. But there are roots at the bottom of this square. And everything's made up of shapes. So those of you brand new, even form would be next. But first you want to see shapes. Learn to see shapes and all those shapes. And here we have a triangle. These angles, that's another thing too we're looking for. We look for angles. And that's kind of starts getting that tree on there. We've got triangles. There's a triangle right in here. Then we've got another one here. And then there's a thickness of line. The thickness of these branches, actually, this one gets wider as it comes down onto the branch. They're not just solid lines. There is a thickness, there's a taper. So it goes a little bit wider as it comes onto the trunk of the tree, especially the first left one and the two right ones. So here are these two right ones. And all I did was, I didn't really talk about how I divided it up, but I did see the big shape first, and then I just divided that whole space into the other branches. If I need to move a branch or you know, you feel free to do that. I just scrape that all in right there. Now, I can see that a little more detail. I can go light until I get it right, even though this is a ballpoint pen. I can see like right in here, there's an area, and then here there's a bigger circle right there at that bottom. And then it goes up here with it, I would say another bigger circle. I'm looking for these medium-sized shapes. They kind of come straight across here. There's a circle here, and like three circles up here, two big ones and a smaller one in the middle. This one like right in there. even though there's more detail, these are kind of like the medium-sized shapes. And here, this is a big circle on this right side. Maybe a small one in there, a small one in there, and then another one over here. Other ones here and there. All right, now I kind of blocked in these big shapes. Now I can actually kind of, if I need to scribble the whole thing in, just get some good shading in there. A marker would be good for that. I thought I said I was going to use a marker. I guess I didn't. I'm going to mute some of you guys. A little ruffling out there. If you need to unmute yourself, feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like to say something. But here we go. Now I can really see the detail in here. There's some really small, finer detail as it comes in here. And I'm almost using blind contour drawing, which is I'm just kind of like really looking more at my subject. And the subject is what I'm drawing. And I'm looking at how it kind of fits and just getting that edge as it kind of comes around. I'm just doing little circles.
Eladio, should we see the model? I can only see what you're creating. I cannot see the original model.
The original model was shared earlier, so here we go.
Is no one looking at it right now?
No, I don't have it side by side. I wish I did, but it's
Okay, I see.
yeah, it's there.
So we're watching the creation of this one piece then.
Yeah. I'm on the second tree here. We're doing the 4 trees on the left.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. There we go. Yeah, so this is just a warm up. We're just scribbling stuff in. It's really good to just find silhouettes. We actually looked at a bunch of silhouettes right before we did this drawing. So that's what we're doing. It's good just to make a mark. You know, find what you love. Find what you like. You might not like trees. You might not be a tree hugger. I'm a tree hugger. I really, nature is so inspiring to draw and paint and do stuff, you know, and try to take care of, because nature takes care of us. We got to take care of it. Here we go. Oh, there's a big little drop. There's a drop right in here. Drop of these edges. But because I see the medium-sized shapes, now I can just put the detail in there, this smaller shapes. Again, this does take some practice seeing the big shapes and then going back down to the middle shapes and going back and forth. Like I can see this big shape there. There's even smaller shapes in there here as I try to keep this bigger rounded shape, like right in here. This bigger rounded shape right in there as it comes around. And a marker would have been a good idea. I think the next one, I'll get a marker in here. We'll get a marker in this next tree, the next 2 trees. And then we're done. We're done with our warm-up. Yeah, good little silhouette warm-ups. Find some, and we're going to be doing animals. These trees are a little more simple. We'll be doing animals and finding other silhouettes. If you find some, post them on our meetup, and that'll help. There we go. And then we just good practice, just shading back and forth. I'm just going to go back and forth with this pen between that space. Now we got direction. If it goes out, so what? You know, we're just getting in there. Yeah. I remember it was kindergarten, 1st grade, just shading like this. And the girl next to me said, hey, shade in the lines. I'm like, okay. But, you know, it was like a free spirit, just shading out there. And I totally kind of remember that. It was really interesting. Ready? Here we go. And people say stuff, you know, you just got to take stuff with a grain of salt. Does it help? Does it hurt? The thing is to not stop drawing, not stop. The more you practice, the more you'll progress. It's about the practice. There we go. Now I'm doing cross hatching. I want to get all this shaded a little bit darker or going with a marker. And you go till you kind of like, okay, that's good enough. I can go darker, but let's see, let's just go through there. I'm happy with that. There we go. Let's do our next tree. All right, the next tree is very similar. Actually, it looks more like a half dome. Let's okay, well, let's do it. I said marker. Let's mark it up. You know, we got this brown marker here. The thing with this one though, I'm going to start smaller. It looks like half a circle. It looks like it's a half a circle. I would say it's a half a circle, and then it's coming down here like this. Now with this half circle, I see a big circle, bigger circle shape right in there. And then let's see, another circle shapes in there. These medium-sized shapes. These are the medium-sized shapes. Another medium-sized shape right in here. And then maybe another medium-sized shape there. There's a lot of little detail, like just like the other one that we just did. But I'm seeing these medium-sized shapes. I saw the big shape, which was half a circle. Now I'm seeing these other shapes here, which are a little smaller, right in here. And then it comes down to that tree. Again, this is just a warm-up. And then there's the detail. And the detail is like really a lot smaller, but it's like kind of like little leaves. It's the leaves kind of like around that form. Yeah, and I can shoot for accuracy, but I'm just getting the feel of it right now. It depends. Kind of got to go with what you're feeling a little bit. Although feelings can get you into trouble. Sometimes you don't feel like doing stuff. That's why you need to come in here every week. We're here and make it a routine, make it a habit. You got to get the drawing habit going. Just draw. Don't be afraid. Build your courage. That's the hard part. Just don't know what to draw. Well, draw anything. It's just sometimes it's just sketching. We're just sketching. It's a sketch. Look at that. That's shaded in a lot quicker because it's a marker. All right. And I saw the big shapes, the middle shapes, and the detail around there. And we got that tree that looks pretty decent. I like the way that looks. It's small. I could see the branches. I kind of put one branch out that way. Kind of start off with that half circle. And there we go. We got one more to go for our warm-up. Another tree. There we go. And let's do this purple, purple, purple. All right, I see another almost an oval shape. There's an oval shape, or yeah, oval shape this way a little bit. There's my circle, a little bit wider. So I'm going to go with that one there. This one has a bunch of shapes to it. So we have that oval shape, almost a circle, slightly ovalish, actually more like a mushroom. So it kind of pulls out at the bottom. All right, so I'm pulling it out at the bottom. The sides, this side right in there, right in that side, almost pulling it, adding like pieces of clay, which is really neat. And then we've got another one of those shapes like right next to it, right in here. And this is where you really need to see proportions, how big something is compared to something else. There's that, and there's another one over here. And then there's another one over right about in there. So we got those four kind of like circular shapes that are like right there. And we got the branches. Let's get the main trunk that kind of comes up the middle right in there. Right, a pretty big trunk. But it's those four big shapes. And actually even bigger, you can actually even see this as a bigger shape. Ooh. Oh, well, this whole thing as one big shape. All four of those circles. Now we can see the detail here. Let's get this detail going. Let's start with let's get the branches. There's 3 branches that come up to the big circle right in here. We got 1, 2, and then the center one, 3. Give it some space. Then we got 2 on this top right one, 1, 2, and then we've got 1 on this lower right one. And then we've got 1, 2 on the lower left one. And this one, there's 2, almost like a Y shape. There's a Y shape right in there. Let's get this straight down. Watching the space. How far down is this? This is about, I would say, half this size is the trunk. That trunk, and then it goes out as well with the roots. Get it nicely planted there. Now let's just get the detail. That's all it is. All the leaves that kind of go around those edges. And this does kind of, oh, the medium-sized shapes. There's a medium-sized shape there, another medium-sized shape there. I'm just adding these medium-sized shapes. And there's even smaller shapes that are kind of like going around in there. But you want to see the bigger shapes. And then these medium and the detail. That would make your drawing solid. You will really want to aim for making your drawing solid. And seeing that big shape broken up by all this little detail is what makes it solid. If you just focus on the detail, your drawing might be everywhere. But if you can see the big shape and then the way the detail is kind of layered on it, or the detail is kind of like just goes around it, it makes the tree a lot more solid, but the detail doesn't detract. Right, the detail kind of just like little things that just kind of poke out here and there. Kind of see how they poke out here. It looks like just like a circle here, this oval, this here. But once we add the little circles that kind of just poke out here and there, happy little tree. There it is. And it's a pretty safe way to draw. If I need to make this tree bigger, I can make it. I can add more clay to this. You know, this silhouette, this scribbleette. There we go. There it is. Bam. There we go. We got our 3 trees. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's go to our drawings. And if you need to do more silhouettes on your own, feel free to do more silhouettes on your own as a warm-up. Here we go. Hopefully that was like 10, 15 minutes. All right, so those are, and there's more silhouettes there. I put those in the chat. And again, be careful with these. These have it's more like a stencil. This one's really interesting. That one, the cowboys. This is definitely a little more challenging, but you know, you don't have to worry about faces. You don't have to worry. You start getting mass, you start getting space, you start getting proportions, and you might have some trouble, but that's okay. You know, got to find what level you're at. You know, what level you're at. If you're doing shapes like this, I want to look at this. This is interesting. Those. All right, let's get to our drawings. We're going to start off. We've got a love one. These are the ones we're doing tonight. Let me stop our recording real quick.